Hey guys, it's Murph. We're going to be doing a video quick on a review on the Huawei Nexus 6P by Google. It came out almost 2 years ago. Late fall, I think it came out, so we're almost at 2 years, a couple more months. I've had it the entire time. I pre-ordered it for $499.99 plus taxes and whatnot. This is a 32 gigabyte model, so it was the cheaper model. I got it in graphite. You really can't see it, but it's the darker color. Nice looking phone, metal construction, wonderful. But as the video says, we're going to go over the good and the bad with this phone, because there's some great things about it and there's some terrible things about it. And right now I'm looking to move on to something else, something a little bit newer, because of all the problems I've been having with this phone. Now, like I said, this is more of a real review because I've actually used this phone myself for, a year and a half now. These other reviewers, they buy the phones, they may use them for days, maybe even hours, days, weeks, months, but usually they move on to other things, and I'm not going to rag on them because it's their job and there's new stuff coming out every day, so they have to move on to something else. So let's start off with what's good about the phone. It's got a great screen. It's got a 5.7-inch LED screen, so it's got those beautiful dark blacks, and it's got those bright light colors, I should say. But one thing I don't like about it is I can't even turn it on now because the battery's dead. I wish I could, guys. But it had a warmer colored screen. So since I root my phone and put a custom ROM on it, I could lighten up the color on the screen. You can change this, the warm tones to a cooler tone. I changed it to a cooler tone. So that was fixed. But again, I'm using custom software, custom ROMs. That's another benefit while I'm on it. Google phones come bootloader unlockable, so you can unlock the bootloader, easily put on a custom recovery, put your custom ROM on it, and do any kind of modding, which I will say as of lately, I mean a couple years ago it was a little bit better because you could root and ROM these phones and you could overclock them and make the processor run much faster, and there was a lot more options to do stuff, where now these phone companies are including all the options with the stock software, so it's not really that big of a deal. And the overclocking on the processors isn't as big of a deal anymore. The processor is a Snapdragon 810. It was great when I bought it, but now it's starting to slow down. It's an 8-core processor. You have 4 low power cores and you have 4 high power cores for the heavy lifting, for the heavy tasks. It was fast in its day, but it's getting older now. So over time, once you try something newer, it seems slow, but it's still a capable processor. It has 3 gigabytes of RAM. I will say that the RAM has been filling up lately. It's all being used up by apps. It seems as time goes on that there's just the operating system, the apps you're using are just consuming more and more of what's available in the system. 32 gigabytes of memory, not enough, or I should say like save space memory, not RAM memory, but 32 gigabytes of hard drive space like on a computer, but save space. Anyways, not enough space. They say 16 gigabytes isn't enough anymore. Well, 32 isn't either. I keep my phone clean. I wipe everything off that I don't use after it's been sitting on there for a little bit. Like once a week, I like to go over my phone, clean things off. And 32 gigabytes still fills up on this phone. That's doing not a lot of pictures, not a lot of anything really. But I have to always go in about every week and clean it up. Otherwise, this phone will fill up. 32 gigabytes, just not enough. All right. I was talking about the good things, but I kind of went off on a tangent about the specs and what's good and bad about the specs. So the screen's a good screen. Big screen, kind of warm toned. I didn't like that, but it's good. It's got stereo front-facing speakers, wonderful sound. I'm sure there might be a better phone out there, or there might be 1 or 2 better phones out there, but great stereo sound. And once you use it, it's hard to go back to like a regular bottom-facing speaker or whatever, but great sound. The reason why I bought the phone is, like I said, the screen size was definitely a major. The stereo speakers. It has a big battery built into it. You can't change it. It's built in, but it had the battery. It had the back fingerprint sensor, which was fast and works good. At the time, the camera was pretty good. Nowadays, I'd say not so much, but at the time, it was a good camera. It's bootloader unlockable, so you can put on custom ROMs. That was a big thing for me. And just being a big phone in general, I like the power user phones. Now, the negatives is, like I was saying, the camera doesn't take the greatest pictures. Back then it was okay, but nowadays, with the specs of the phone nowadays, the S8s, the S7s, the LG G5, G6, it's just a weak camera. I took a picture the other day and it struggles in low light. I took a picture of a blue pair of pants that I was taking a picture of for eBay, and the blue just looked totally off. My rug on my floor is supposed to be a tan. It looked more yellow. It's weird. Like in low light, it wants to make things look like a yellow tint. Okay, so that's a negative with this phone. Another negative is ever since I bought it, it's hard for people to hear me when I'm talking just normal through the mic. Okay, so I'll be talking on and people will say, "Huh, what are you saying? Huh, huh, huh," and I have to put the phone and make sure that mic is right next to my mouth so people can hear me, where with other phones I've owned, I can hold the phone a foot away from my head and talk, or maybe even more, and they can still hear you. With this phone, I noticed the microphone just never worked good. Other people complained about it, so I don't think it was just my phone. I think it was a bunch. I never RMA'd the phone or anything because, as long as I made sure I was talking into the phone, it would be okay. But that was another negative. The screen being a warm tone, that was kind of a negative, but that's just, preference. That's not a big deal. The camera was weak. We talked about that. The RAM, not enough RAM. And I also have the problem now where, like I said before, one of the pluses was the big battery. Well, now the phone dies. Now, that's the reason why it's dead now, and that's what gave me the idea to make this video, is it had about 40% battery left. It's the middle of summer up here, okay? So if you look outside, you see the green grass and everything's pretty. And the phone just died with 40% battery life, okay? Now in the winter, it gets even worse. So it could die at any time, really. And the cold weather just zaps the battery and drains it out. Now, the first year I had this, it didn't do that. So, because I bought it late fall when it came out, so that first winter, it was fine. But this last winter, the phone dies, it just doesn't last, and now even in the summer, it's dying with, almost half a charge. And you can't just take the back cover and replace the battery. You have to take the phone apart, which isn't a big deal. But since the phone's getting to be 2 years old, I'm thinking instead of fixing it, how about I just get rid of it and upgrade to something newer anyway, because I do all my eBay for my phone. I do my YouTube videos for my phone. So, I'd consider myself a power user, so I need a phone that's running strong and is fast and, up to date and everything, and has enough save space and this and that. No memory or micro SD expansion in this phone either for the save space. I should have said that when I said 32 gigabytes of space. You can't add extra, okay? And another positive for the phone is it works on all carriers. T-Mobile, Sprint, AT&T, Verizon, works on them all. I'm on Straight Talk through Verizon's network, and it works on it. So that is another plus for the phone. When I buy a phone, I like it to work on everything, so I have the option if I want to switch to something else. So that was another plus. Sorry I missed that one, guys. Anyways, so with the battery dying, with the microphone issue, with the doing the eBay and the camera just not working like I wish it did in the low light, and in light pictures where it's outside daylight, it takes some really good pictures. But in the low light, it's just brutal. So those were some of the pros and cons. Right now I'm like leaning towards getting an LG V20. It's about 10 months old now, but it has a Snapdragon 820. It has 4 gigabytes of RAM, which is a gigabyte more than this. It has a great camera, so I've heard. I heard it has great sound. One of the things I will miss is having the stereo speakers, but even at this point, if I got the Google Pixel XL, you don't have stereo speakers either. And right now, the V20 is doing like around $260 on eBay. A Pixel XL, you're looking at like $450, maybe $500 right now. And I'm talking good deals, guys. Like, what's the lowest price? And I was also looking at a Galaxy S8, which has the newest of everything, but then you're spending $600. And since I'm on Straight Talk, I have to buy my phones outright. So I'm leaning towards the LG V20. It's got the big screen, good camera, big battery, other features that I like about it. It's got the newer Snapdragon 820, which isn't the newest and greatest, but it's better than the 810. And it's just looking like a good phone. So hey guys, in the comments, if you want to give me any recommendations on what I should buy. I was also looking at the ZTE Axon 7, but the problem with that phone is they're hard to find. And you're paying now, it came out at $399, and they're actually on eBay. There's a lot of them, if they're brand new, are going for more than $399. They're doing like $450. So, I mean, I don't know how a phone goes up in price, but it is. But anyways, sometimes you can find them used, but they're usually in gold, and I wanted gray for the Axon 7. But anyways, not to go off on a tangent, if you guys want to leave in the comments what you recommend maybe I should look into, if there's something else I'm missing. Again, I has to work on Verizon's network because I go through Straight Talk Verizon. But guys, this was Murph. I just wanted to do a video on the Nexus 6P after about 2 years, a year and a half, I'd say. And the pros, the cons, the real review, because a lot of people review these phones, but they might go back here and there, but I used this the entire time since it released. So, guys, it was Murph. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.